Hey everybody, it's Jeff here with T-Werx and Entrepreneur Essentials once again this week. I'm here with my friend Joyce Michaels of Austin Custom Errands, and she's going to tell us a little bit about her entrepreneurial journey. She was doing entrepreneurship when it wasn't even cool. So we're going to hear a little bit about her history and how her business started and what she does. So with that, Joyce, tell us a little bit about your entrepreneurial journey.
I had taught school, I had been a stay-at-home mom, and I had done some sewing for interior decorators. And so I was involved with a car wreck, and the sewing needed to not be done for a while because it hurts shoulders that way. And a friend and I had a discussion about what we could do to make money without much capital outlay. So we decided we like to shop. So it would be a good idea to shop and spend other people's money.
I love this.
So that's how we got to an errand service. I had seen a full front page ad on the lifestyle section of the American Statesman of a woman who had Errands Unique a couple of years earlier, and I thought that's really a great idea. So that's what we jumped in and did.
Nice. And so you did have a partner at the beginning?
I did have for probably 3 months.
Okay.
The economy in 1985 tanked, and she had to go get a job so that they didn't lose their house. Her husband was a commercial plumber, and one of the big banks in downtown Austin just forgot to pay him.
Oops.
And he had to pay the subcontractors, so she had to get paid to keep their house.
Yeah.
Which was kind of a ratty deal, but it led to something fun and something different to do.
Nice, very cool. So talk a little bit about what you do. So how and what do you do?
We do a lot of different things, and they run from the mundane, like the things that are necessary for running a household, setting up appointments, waiting for repair people, cable guy, things like that. I've done a lot of grocery shopping. That's not so much now because everybody provides delivery service. But the one thing most of them don't do is they don't take the groceries in and put them away. So we definitely do that. And one thing that was a big surprise to me is that we do an awful lot of pet sitting.
Okay.
And the virtual stuff can't do the pet sitting yet. They may figure out a way eventually, but right now we're safe.
You're safe on that side.
Okay, yeah.
And I know you've taken care of my cat, so I can vouch for her that she does a wonderful job, and my completely neurotic female cat actually likes her and will come out. So.
Yeah, right.
Okay, well, so talk a little bit about some of your more crazy and interesting experiences with.
One of them was feeding an iguana, a 4-foot iguana. I had fed a small iguana that was in a terrarium. But this thing had a 2-decker cage, and they told me they didn't like people and that it would bite, that it liked to bite. So they put out an oven mitt, and the plates in the refrigerator, there was food in the refrigerator on plates, and I was to take that plate and replace the plate in the cage. The iguana, I put on the mitt, the person's fingers were about that much longer than mine, so the plate clattered, and that thing swatted me across the face. No. And I said, okay, you get water, because his water was in the bowl underneath and I could pour it in. And so I thought about it. So I just took a filled fresh plate, thought, well, I'll just open it and stick that in on top. Oh, he swatted me again. So, well, this is a cold-blooded critter. So I
Literally.
went before the sun came up. And then I could take care of him just fine because he was too sleepy to bother with me. So after the owners got back from that trip, the next time they turned off the heat lamp.
Okay.
So that he was sluggish all the time, and it was just the way he was going to be while they were gone.
Too bad you're going to be cold, buddy.
Right. So that was an experience.
That is an awesome experience.
One couple, I started working for them before their daughter was born, and she was, they moved a couple of times. And so they moved into this big house in Westlake. There were 3 levels to the house. And where was I going with that story? Oh, I set up 9 phone lines with a phone company in that house. And after about a year, they decided they didn't need the long distance on one of the lines. So I called the phone company and said, we want to remove this. Well, she asked for his mother's name, maiden name, his birth date, his driver's license, the last 4 of his social security number. And then she said, are you on the account? And I said, no. No, she said, are you his wife? And I said, no. And she said, what is your name? And I told her, and she said, are you on the account? Or you're not on the account, so I can't do this. And she did an aside to somebody and said, she's got all this information, but I don't know where she got it. I said, because he's sitting downstairs and he doesn't want to waste time on the phone with you.
He hired me to do this.
And I said, let me get this straight. I could set up 9 lines, and as long as the money was coming in to you all, that was
fine.
just fine. But if I want to take one of the services away and it costs you a little bit of money, I can't do it. And she said, right. So I hung up. I went downstairs and told him what she had said. And he said, well, wait a couple of days and call back, see who you get. So a couple of days later, I called back, and I got this gal, I never will forget that. She said her name was Ann. And she said, are you Mrs.? And I said, no. And she says, oh, I get it. And so she did it.
That's awesome. Yeah.
So he said, I told you you could pretend to be my wife, but I guess you could pretend to be my mistress too.
Whatever it takes.
Because I told the first one that I worked for them, and she was just going to go right by that little dot the I and cross the T.
What it said in the book, that's what I do. So,
yeah.
Well, great. I mean, what are some of the new things that you've got coming into your business now?
Well, in addition to the pet sitting when people are traveling, sometimes when people travel they don't even have pets, but they want plants taken care of or the house just checked on.
Okay.
And so if you're gone for like a week or 10 days, maybe 2 weeks, maybe you empty out the refrigerator, the perishable things out of the refrigerator, the pantry, and so then if you leave a grocery list, we can get the groceries and have everything supplied when you get back.
Fantastic.
And you don't have to rush to the grocery store when you'd rather just go to bed and sleep.
Exactly. That is fantastic. And I don't think there's really a lot of people doing that right now. And I know I would say I know my pet sitter doesn't do it, but you're my pet sitter. So now you do it. So that's wonderful. No, that's fantastic, because I think it's a great service for people to it's like, okay, you get back, you don't have to worry about it, you don't have to run out, and you can rest. And
another thing that happens is sometimes when we're feeding pets, some emergency comes up. Like one cat got very sick, and so took that one to the vet, and probably wound up saving its life.
Absolutely.
And it was only a 2-year-old cat. And then a water heater sprung the leak, and so things that need to be taken care of. And I posted on LinkedIn about solving one problem and said, does your pet sitter do this? And a guy responded, he didn't even show up.
I show up and I make sure this isn't going to happen.
Right.
All right. Well, let's talk a little bit about the Fast 5 questions now.
Okay.
So tell us, if you woke up in the morning, business was gone, you have $500 in your pocket, laptop, computer, you have food and shelter taken care of, what would be your first thing that you would do? Business task.
The first business task would probably find me a good networking group,
Okay.
go to them and explain or tell what the situation is and ask for suggestions as
Okay.
to where to start.
Okay, I think that's great. Find out what challenges people have
Yeah.
and go after it. So tell us about your biggest entrepreneurial mistake.
I met with a gentleman, and they were going to be gone for a while, and he would need the car to be driven about every 2 weeks so that the battery didn't die. And so I had met with him, we talked about everything, and so I thought it was all settled, and then I never heard from him again. So that one didn't work out so well.
Oops.
So I figured out that I needed to be, that I nailed it down.
Yeah. Beforehand.
Didn't
Yeah.
assume anything. Not
Absolutely.
a good plan.
Not a good plan at that point. Do you have a good book that you would recommend for?
I think that
Entrepreneurs?
any entrepreneur who has not read How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie needs to read it.
Okay.
I read it the first time when I was in the 9th grade, and one important thing that I think was very important was a person's most prized possession is his name, so learn it and use it.
Mm-hmm. That is awesome. I love that. And that's we shared this before about this. My grandfather was a big reader and collected, and so I have a first edition Dale Carnegie that it was it was when I read it first was actually off of my grandfather's copy that I got after he had died. So
Yeah, I read it because a speech class I was in the 9th grade required that we do a speech, and I chose friendship for my title.
Okay.
And so when I went through what was available, I found that book and read it. And it's like, I don't know any other 9th graders who read it, but I read it and took it to heart.
Yeah, and carried it through all these years.
Right.
So, can you tell us about a tool that you use in your business?
I use LinkedIn, and I'm using Alignable, which is more localized, except it's really not sometimes.
Yeah.
And then I have a website which I have had for years, since way before websites were all that common, and having been told that an errand service didn't need a website. But I did it anyway. And then recently I have added a Google business page.
Okay.
And that to me is super neat, because you type either Austin Custom Errands or Errands Austin or Austin Errands, and that is the first thing that shows up.
Nice.
And there's a link on it to the website.
Okay. Fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's a very good tool.
Yeah. No, it's the first person that said something like that. And how have you used in your business? How have you used LinkedIn?
Connecting with people, and then some of them have actually contacted me and hired me to work.
Nice.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
So I told somebody at one point that I had been hired because somebody found me on LinkedIn.
That's
and it was
fantastic.
like, well, you're the first person I know that did
Yeah, that
hired
actually has
because
gotten
of
hired
LinkedIn.
off of something. Yeah, it's a
And that
unique
job has
business.
been ongoing.
Yeah.
It's still going. So
Yeah.
it's been,
Even if you get one that works, it
Yeah.
works out. But yeah,
Yeah.
that's outstanding.
and it's for a guy in Las Vegas. So,
Interesting.
but it's done here.
Okay.
So, yeah,
Outstanding.
yeah.
Tell me a little bit about how we would get in contact with you.
The website, the email, the telephone, email Joyce at austincustomerrands.com, and the cell phone is 512-924-2162.
Okay. And it's austincustomerrands.com, of course.
Right.
Okay. Fantastic. Well, Joyce, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you for telling us a little bit about what you do. Make sure y'all, once again, I've known Joyce for probably 7 years now, since I've been here in Austin, and I can vouch for how wonderful a job she does. Everything from pet sitting to errands to everything else. She can help a busy person become more successful by taking a lot of those simple things off your plate. So I would highly recommend reaching out to her and looking at I think I always loved your tagline, you do anything as long as it's legal and ethical.
Legal and moral.
And moral, okay,
We'll
there we go.
consider it so long as
Yes.
it's legal and moral.
So thank you very much for
Thank
coming
you.
today, and we appreciate you.
Thank
Guys, right down below me, of course, is always our subscription button. Make sure that you subscribe to the channel so that as these things come out, you're sent an email to let you know that they're available. We will be doing a ton of interviews during the month of December here, so make sure that you keep up with us, stay on there, watch our Facebook channel so that you see all these interviews coming out, because we've got some really cool folks coming in. So thanks a lot, and we'll see you next week.